Hit the like button. You said outro too. My 7-year-old granddaughter will tell you she doesn't want to grow up. She used to be in kid. Yeah. It was more fun without the stress. It was less stress. Right. When I was a kid, I wanted to be older so bad because I was like extremely independent. Extremely independent. Right. So I wanted to be able to have my own apartment. Man, I wanted to move out when I was like 14, 15. I wanted to be on my own. Right. I remember having conversations. I wanted to get emancipated, all that stuff. And it was like, hey, just wait. You ain't got that much time. And sure enough, when I hit a certain age, I went out on my own and then realized it was hard. I still kept going and kept striving through and making my way through it. But yes, it was extremely harder, right? Than the old kid to like just not have to worry about nothing. And I remember having conversations with this dude named Fuego that me and him was really cool in a group home that we stayed in, right? And then when we met each other as adults and had a conversation, it was the funniest thing. Because the first thing he said was, yo, we had it good, right? And I was like, damn, yo, yeah, we did have it. And it felt as if no one in the world could relate to him other than me. I could hear it in his voice, right? Because he knew like, damn, when me and him was in the group home as teenagers, we had it good, bro. And we didn't realize it. Like, I started realizing it towards the end. Once I started getting older and it was like, yeah, I'm about to go out and be on my own, I started peeping it and started trying to make certain moves. But I remember there was like a staff there named Val. I used to call her Valley Val, right? Still to this day, if I called right now, and she ended up being like the big boss, the supervisor, right, of the group home. So if I called her phone, right, and said, yo, let me speak to Val, she's gonna be like, who is this? If I say, still to this day, this is years later, over 10 years, if I say, yo, let me speak to Valley Val, I'm like, oh, Beast, oh, it's you. Oh, I knew you would call. They all remember me from just, yo, Valley Val. Just, I don't know why I started calling her that, but that was just, I had a nickname for everybody. That's how I've been my whole life. I would just call you something different than just your regular name. I would come up with a variation because I don't like being like other people. So she would remember me just being a kid walking in, yo, Valley Val, what we got in the fridge? But yeah, me and Fuego, we was talking about it. Like, fam, the fridge was packed. Whenever we ran low on something, we could literally just say it to the staff and they would give us money to go and get more groceries. We just had to bring the receipt back, right? So we had a nonstop refrigerator, no bills, right? We could have been really grinding and focusing. A lot of us was bull-ishing. I was focusing, especially more towards the end. A lot of people was bull crapping. They wasn't using their opportunities, right? That was given to us, right? And we was in a bad predicament, but we had it pretty damn good. And I ain't had no curfew either. They tried to say we had a curfew. There ain't no damn curfew. They had no fucking curfew. They would say we had one, but it was like, if we break curfew, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yeah, we broke curfew. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? What's poppin'? How you doing? He said, yeah, but like we would break curfew all the time. I'm gonna because me back then I was going to the studio every day, and that was my job. I worked in the studio at the time. I was lucky, right? So like you telling me I get to be in the studio with like all these famous celebrities, and I got to go back to the group home at certain time? The fuck out of here! No. I'll get home like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And what they gonna do? Punish me? I mean, I stopped doing chores too when I was in a group home. I realized there was a scheme. I realized it because the way that they worked, it was like they would do have us do chores, and they would give us like a little what you call it, not stipend, allowance. They would give us an allowance at the end of the week. And I started peeping. I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, the math ain't mathing, yo. The math ain't mathing. They got us really out here scrubbing floors and shit. You gonna give me $5 at the end of the week? Wouldn't it just save us more money and time if we just got jobs? Like, why don't we just go out and get a job, bro? Like we really sitting here scrubbing floor. We could go get a part-time job and scrub the floor there and get more than $5. Everybody looked at me like I was all crazy. So I just stopped doing my chore. I was like, fuck that. Let me go get a part-time job or something. right? They hated me. I would always make the independent decision. And they kept trying to kick me out the group home, right? Because I would get into like fights, but it would never be my fault. And that ain't me dodging accountability. That's me blatantly, yo, fam. There'd be times where I don't want to fight at all, bro. And I would have to defend myself, right? But then because I was good at it, right? And I started like training in martial arts back then, I would go to the like rec centers. That's how I first started going to rec centers that teach like karate and boxing, maybe even some jiu-jitsu or wrestling. I would go like 3 times a week on my own just because I wanted to. I looked it up. I was like, oh, there's some dude teaching. All right, boom. And then me and my friends would go over there and learn some stuff. And I was the only one that was like going like 3 times a week, every week. Right. So then when people would try to fight me in group homes, I would defend myself and it would always end. Like it always went in good for me, bad for them. Right. So people would always try to stress me. Like I remember this one dude, Danny. Yo, Dan. And me and him ended up getting really cool. If we bumped into each other recent, like now, we would probably be the best of friends. Right. Because Danny was like this crazy pothead, right? That was just that's all he cared about. Like at this, mind you, we teenagers, he had a plant tattoo on his arm back then, bro. Like that's all he did. So I remember, I think I had like some change in my drawer. I come home one night, my roommate is like, he's cool with the both of us. So he's trying to get Danny to be a man and tell me straight up. So he like, yo, just tell him, bro. Just tell him, bro. So Danny gets up and he's like, all right, man, I went in your dresser and took you some money out your drawer. And then he goes to the bathroom. Yeah, so I'm like, yo, there's no way. There's no way this man just told me he stole my money out my drawer. I don't care how much it was, so he could go smoke and just he went to go take a dump. Like he went to go number 2 right after. Like I felt like he was literally shitting on me. I felt like he literally shitting on me. I was like, oh nah, bro, we got we throwing hands. I was like, I already know this is going to end in a fight. I know this is going to end in a fist fight, right? We all upstairs, boss, so no staff, right? That's how it was most of the time. It'd be like one staff. They wouldn't even break nothing us up. They would tell us that they're calling cops, and then we would, on our own volition, just stop. Like, all right, we good. So it was all of us by ourselves. He comes back after, using the bathroom. So I'm like, yo, bro, you just went through my stuff, like, and took my money? He's like, oh, yeah, if you want to, like, fight, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, bet. So I start going through his stuff, right? I go through his dresser. I'm like violating. I'm throwing shit in the air. Like, all right, let me just go through your shit. So I'm doing enough for him to get frustrated. So I'm rumbling through his shit. Everybody was laughing like, oh man, they already know. They moving out the way, right? I grab his mirror. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Toss that shit to the side. I'm talking about like a big ass mirror that was like taller than me. Toss that shit to the side. He like, yo, you wildin'. As soon as he throws the swing, I'm like, that's what I was looking for. We start throwing some swing. I'm leaking this shit. Staff finally come. They about to break it up. I'm like, this is my thing. I never want like staff to ever have to struggle. Back when I was a group home. So I throw my hands up. No problem. It's all good. He throw his hands up. It's all good. I'm thinking it's over. I'm like, this to me, we even. Right? I didn't sneak you. I didn't sucker punch you. You tried to steal from me. And then I showed dominance and violated you enough to where you felt like you had to fight so we could just get it off and fight and then just move on. I didn't sneak you. We was face to face. I waited for you to take a swing. So after they break it up, I think I'm like, we done, right? I go in my room. Now he's all hyped up. He going crazy. He ripping his shirt off. Yeah, man. Yo, watch. I'm going to see you. You ain't never going to be able to go to sleep. Right? So cops get called. I'm like, yo, listen, I got some homeboys that'll let me just spend the night. Y'all wilding out. I'll come back tomorrow. I want to fight again. I'll come back tomorrow. Right? So they like, oh, you soft. And niggas is talking all shit. Everybody else saying, yo, you making the right decision. Just go to your homeboy house for tonight. Come back tomorrow morning. I bet. I go all the way to my homeboy's house. This is like a 2-hour ride, bro. The whole time I'm sitting there contemplating this shit like, nah, something ain't right. My ego. And me right now, I'd have just kept on going, just relaxed, came back next day. My ego at the time was crazy. I'm like, nah, these niggas think I'm scared of them. They think, yo, I literally get all the way to my friend's house. This is a 2-hour ride. I get all the way to my friend's house. I go into his house. He opens the door. He stands there with the door open. I sat down for literally, if I'm lying, I'm dying, 20 seconds. I stood back up and walked out and said, nah, I can't let that slide, and walked back out. My friend standing there never closed his door and said, I already knew what you was going to say. I walked right back out his door, went all the way back to the group home. It's like 6 a.m. I'm waiting outside now, nigga. Like, I'm not even going to go outside. Fuck that. They going to come outside and be surprised. I'm here. I wait outside. Nobody comes outside. I'm like, oh, all right. I guess motherfuckers ain't going to school today. They called out of school. Cool. Me, I'm like, nigga, I got my GED early as fuck. I already knew I like didn't want to go to like high school for that long. I hated being around people. I didn't really plan on going to college, but I ended up going for like one day. But I had my GED. So like the whole time, somebody's wilding in my hallway, just throwing shit like and making as loud and noise as possible. They must hear me talking and want to just keep causing a ruckus just to be assholes. So we just gonna keep talking, right? So yeah, I got my GED. So I was able to like not have to go to school every day. I got the opportunity to like work part-time and things like that. He was going to school. So I was waiting, like, as soon as he come out, well, I'm going to ask him what's up. All right, let's just get it over with. He doesn't come out. Eventually, I'm like, F it. I go upstairs. I go to sleep, right? Or like I'm halfway asleep. He's coming, like trying to come in my room. And he's asking my roommate, that's cool with the both of us. Yo, your punk ass roommate in there? Your soft ass roommate, he sleep? He thinks I'm asleep because I got a blanket over my head. I'm like, with my head like out the covers. Tell him I'm asleep. Tell him I'm asleep. I want him to come in here and sneak me and think that I'm just sleeping in here. So my roommate goes, I'm staying out of it. He just walks out, right? I'm like, I had enough. I've never been the type to pussyfoot, even when I was a teenager, right? This is years ago. I'm like, yo, fam, let me put my sneakers on. Fuck this. Mind you, this is me with no sleep. Remember, I went to my friend's house, came all the way back here, was outside. I'm like, fuck, no sleep. Let's fight. Let's just get it over with, bro. Let's just get it over with. I feel like I can't sleep. Because now I think you gonna come in and try to sucker punch me, right? That's normal in a group home. That's like average things. So I'm like, all right. I get my stuff on, put my sneakers. I go to like right where the bathroom's at. He's going in the bathroom. I waited. I sat down on the couch. As soon as he came out, I'm like, all right, what's up? And then we just started fighting. We swing on each other. And eventually I start getting the best of him. He grabs the mirror that's on the wall and smacks the hell out of me with it. Cracks me with that shit. Yo, I got like a frame hanging on my neck. Like, it ain't look like a what's his name? A Three Stooges episode. And like, I'm over here, and I'm still swinging. I'm still swinging like a madman, right? So eventually, like, I grab him. Right, he got me like in a headlock. Staff come upstairs. People, they not trying to break it up, right? So they just watching, right? As he got me in a headlock, I knew, right? And this is me. If I'm lying, I'm done. I knew that my door had like a faulty lock, right? So where, if you bump it just enough in the right spot, that shit burst open, right? So I'm like, I bet the choke is getting tight. I ain't gonna front. He yoking me. I'm about to fall asleep. Pick him up. Run through the door. Poof, the shit burst open. We both fall on the floor. Yo, that's just crazy. Yo, they finally like, all right, now we can separate them. They break us apart, right? I got like blood like falling down my face from when I got hit with the mirror, right? So like we both screaming at each other a little bit. I'm more so screaming like, all right, that's round one. Let's get round two. Come on, let's go downstairs. Because now I'm pumped up. He literally looks at me. He goes, yo, he breathing mad hard. You won. You got it. You got it. He's like, yo, fam, I gotta smoke. I don't want to fight no more. I'm good. He was like, I'm good. You win. You win. My foot's busted. My eye is swollen. You win. You win. Right? So literally, I'm downstairs. They put a Band-Aid on my head. They told me, so you want to go to the hospital? I'm like, no, I'm good. Right? He comes downstairs. His foot's all messed up. I don't know how is it. Probably when I slammed him or something. But his foot's all jacked up. His eye is like crazy swollen. He got like a black eye. But then he runs up and hugs me. Like, yo, man, it's all good. Nah, nothing but love, nothing but love. It's all good. We good now. And I felt the same. Like, nigga, I feel like we got it off our chests. Now, nigga, I can finally take a nap. I can finally take a nap. We got it off our chests. I could finally take a nap, fam, and go to sleep. They telling me, nah, stay awake, fam. You hit your head. I'm like, nah, I could take a nap. They're like, nah. What if you got a concussion? I'm like, from a mirror? Probably, but let me go to sleep. And then my dumb ass took a nap. But nah, me and him was mad cool after that. Actually, when he graduated from high school and no one else wanted to go to show him love, I went. That's facts. That's facts. He can vouch for that shit. That nigga was looking sad as hell, bro. It was his graduation. We on the group home, right? So we like wasn't really with our families at the time. So I seen he was all sad on the couch because he kept asking mad people, yo, I got a bunch of tickets. I bought like 5 tickets. Nobody wanted to go. Staff members is fronting. So there's one staff, I think Christy, she said she was going to go because they used to be mad cool. And I was like, fuck it, I'll go. He was mad hype. Like, word, yo, bet. And sure enough, I went. He thought I was bullshitting. I went. And then when he walked across stage, I ran up and was yelling that nigga name. And then it was hype as hell, fam. It was a cool moment. Right. And I was like actually happy, man. It was a lot of us that didn't finish high school. Me by choice. I chose to get my GED. Once I found out that the GED existed, there was no other option to me. I was like, the sooner I can get away from people. I didn't like classrooms. I didn't like being around people. Circles would form around me. I hated that shit. But yeah, sooner the better. All right. So yeah, I was actually pretty happy for him. Shout out to him. I think he's doing construction right now. Shout out to him. I don't know what had me just going to that story time, but I figured, fuck it, let me keep going so I could clip it and make it some content for the BXBeastBoy Extra channel. Story time. BXBeastBoy got into a fight when he was in a group home. That happened a lot. When I was in group homes, fam, a lot of my friends were people that me and them fought. I don't know why. I guess it was like my way of like seeing if they was real enough. Right? Because when I was young, there's been a plethora of times where a crew of dudes came to jump me and all my friends ran away. That happened so many times. A crew of people come to jump me, everybody runs. And now it's just me fighting like 5 dudes, 6 dudes. This is facts. Since I was a little kid. Man. 12 years old, 13. That's the way it's always been. So like, I've grown accustomed to at around that time frame to only being cool with people that I knew wouldn't run, right? And that's usually people that I would have beef with, and then we would fight, and they end up being super cool. That's a fact. Especially when I was in that group home. I was in a few group homes, but the first one that was like huge, like a college campus, yeah, that's the way it was. The fighting was normal. That was before I even got into martial arts. The later, I guess, time frame of me being in a group home, that's when I was like really into martial arts. Earlier, no, I was just a wild kid. 6'2". You was 6'2". Get your 6'2" merch, guys. I'm dropping some new merch probably in the next 2 days too as well. Maybe by Sunday. I did in fights with other kids when I was a kid because I had a bad temper. Yeah. That's something I grew out of though. I think I had a bad temper. People used to tell me I had a superhero complex. Like I was always the guy that would jump into fights, right? It wasn't more so like I would just be angry, but I would be angry if somebody I felt was smaller or bullied. I remember that one time I blatantly told my mom that shit too, because I was always honest. When I got in trouble and she came to my school, and I straight up told her, like, yo, fam, like, do you see my classmate? This nigga's like 4 feet tall. This dude that's like Shaquille O'Neal size tried to fight him. And then I told my mom, like, outside of school, he attacked his mother. My mom was like, what? I was like, yes. All right, so now you see why me fighting this big ass Shaq dude. I'm like, come on, he bigger than me too. But I felt like I had to. That's how I always felt like in junior high school, high school. I don't like seeing smaller kids get picked on. Right? Nah, you got to relax. Now, they was just running their mouth. That's different. But if you like a bully, man, since I like was a kid, I would be the first one to step up. Like, hey, you a bully? What's up? Let's fight. And I'm telling me and mad people ended up getting cool like that back in the day. I had a friend named Trent. Me and him ended up getting cool exactly like that because he was the same way. I stepped up to fight somebody and then he stepped to fight me. So it was someone trying to fight someone else. I stepped up to fight and then he stepped up to fight. And then we noticed that while me and him was about to fight, me and him getting ready, like taking our stuff off, everyone else was gone. And we ended up becoming friends because we were laughing at how soft everybody was. And this was like, I think maybe right before we got to high school on some anime shit. Like we was just known for just being the two toughest dudes in school. And we ended up getting cool like that because we laughed and like, where everybody go? Everyone else ran. And we just thought that was the funniest shit in the world. So we didn't even fight. I mean, of course, like later on, we would throw the gloves on just for fun and be boxing in his house and shit. But me and him got cool because we was the two dudes about to fight each other that had the superhero complex. Right? To where we always was trying to save people and shit. Crazy. But me and him ended up getting really cool. And then years later, finding out that we was like kind of related or something like that. I think so. I think like my uncle is somehow connected. Or like my distant uncle, like my father's uncle, I think, is somehow related to his aunt in some way. But yeah, some weird shit. I remember I put his father on the phone with my father's brother. And they was talking and going back and forth about the history. Apparently, on my father's side, my great whoever that I was a descendant of was like one of those like slave fighters. Like when you were a slave and they made you fight. It's crazy. On some like fightings in my blood. And then my father ended up being like a 3rd-degree black belt and shit. And then me, without even knowing my father, I went into martial arts. That's freaky as fuck, right? On some like it was in my blood to know how to fight. Like I'm a built warrior type shit. But then that's on my bitch ass father's side. On my mother's side, with my grandmother and all that, that's different. That's like a whole different family tree, right? That's why I always be saying like I'm more American than anything, right? Bro? So, but some of my ancestors was here, nigga. Was here. They ain't get bored here. They were here. So hi, BXBeastBoy. I'm doing tonight. Permission to feature a couple of clips here. Welcome to join to discuss these tragedy pens. You can email me at contactbxbeastboy@gmail.com. I gotta stop putting in my links, like in my description. So that's on me. But I'm gonna stop putting it in my description. But yeah, you can contact me at contactbxbeastboy@gmail.com. And also, you have permission to use whatever clip you want of mine as long as you just credit me. As long as you tell people where you got it from, like whether it's in the description or if you're just literally saying it. If you say it in the intro or whatever, then I don't care. Use my clips until your heart is content. That's all I care about is the credit, right? But I know how content creation is. So yeah, just and make it fair use if you can. Some people would just play my whole stream. So as long as you're adding your 2 cents to it, you can use as many of my clips as you like. Just use as many of my clips as your heart is content, as long as you credit me. You know what I mean?